Good afternoon. My name is Aduddin A. Alaouya III, and I'll be talking about the concept of securitization theory. The basic concern is that the use of national security tends to be used on political issues deemed as security issues by security actors who have the ability to move said issue above politics, therefore granting them freedom of operation without check. This is a problem because security operates on empirical values and does not consider moral and ideological elements, therefore missing the deeper roots of an issue and causing unnecessary harm and force. There are five sectors deemed important: economic, social, military, political, and environmental. These sectors have a referent object that it affects or threatens, such as how military relates to the interests of the state, and how the social could be the people being affected by terrorism and military security. Some basic examples are the US involvement in the Middle East, the Hungarian border fence, and security in France, all relating to a security issue of terrorism and the need to protect their domestic areas, e- even up to undemocratic levels if they should. Decision makers have to convince the people who are the audience to deem their security issues as legitimate and above politics by using language agreements and certain constructions of reality in order for them to gain freedom of operation. Theorists say that there's a disproportionate amount of power and strives to protect politics by putting the people as the responsible party to deem whether or not these issues are legitimate. Securitization prefers de escalation of security and transparency for the audience to see the actions of the security actors. Thank you for listening. Next will be the India China border tensions and its application in the securitization theory.
India and China border tensions. What is the border dispute in India and China? The conflict stretches back to at least 1914, when representatives from Britain, the Republic of China, and Tibet gathered in Simla and what is now India to negotiate a treaty that would determine the status of Tibet and effectively settle the borders between China and British India. Today, we have the Sino-Indian border along the McMahon Line, which is 4,056 km long and traverses one Indian Union territory, which is Ladakh, and four Indian states, namely Uttarakhand, Himachal Pradesh, Sikkim, and Arunachal Pradesh. India maintains that the McMahon Line, a 550-mile frontier that extends through the Himalayas, which is the official legal border between China and India. The Sino-Indian border dispute is an ongoing territorial dispute over the sovereignty of two relatively large and several smaller separated pieces of territory between China and India. What happened between India and China? In the past week, fighting between Chinese and Indian soldiers on disputed western Himalayan borders, dated late Monday, at least 20 Indian soldiers were killed in Galway Valley, in the disputed Ladakh region. It is said that China accused the Indian troops for crossing the border twice with the intentions of provoking and attacking Chinese personnel. However, both sides insisted that no shots were fired. There are reports of casualties, but there is no official confirmation. Military officials from both countries later met to defuse the situation. The armies came face to face at many points along the 3,440-kilometer shared border. The confrontation came after tensions bubbled up in recent months over a new road built in Ladakh, along the line of actual control which divides the two, in which it angered China. These projects all further stress the fragile and globally crucial high altitude environment. In recent days, army generals from India and China have been involved in talks aimed at resolving the border row. However, similar reconciliation attempts have stalled in the past. If they are not successful, there is a risk for escalation between two rivals who happen to be the world's most populous countries and thus have nuclear weapons. This is extremely serious, as commented by former Indian Army Commander D.S. Huda.
The race to build along a disputed border turned deadly for the first time between India and China. The two countries are very much attentive to their territorial concerns, competing for strategic goals economically and politically ever since. The tension bubbled up when India built a new road in Ladakh, which angered China. The road was built to boost Delhi's capability to move men and materials fast in case of conflicts. China then established infrastructures and deployed troops to show strength and as a response to India. Since India deemed China as an official threat to their territory, India's supposed territory is vulnerable for foreign invasion, so they had to deal with it, otherwise, everything else will be lost again. Past conflicts of the rivalry of possession took them necessary measures to safeguard their territories. China's provocation fueled India's urgency to take action. The constant encounters which were deemed to a threat to territory has immediately shifted to a life-threatening moment. Out of urgency, both parties resorted to violence without due process, losing lives only to secure and protect their respective territories. It all happened because both parties treat the shared border as an important strategic area which to them is necessary for their country's advantage and security. Eventually, both countries took necessary measures by diplomatic talks and agreement to forge peace between them. Hence, securitization is evident through this confrontation, which shows how they protect their threatened territory from what they officially labeled as security threat.
The two countries reached an understanding not to fight, but Beijing now has more stronger power. The heightened tensions between the world's two most popular countries have drawn international concerns, which the United Nations urging both sides to exercise maximum. If Beijing fears other nations may view China as weak or distracted by the economic aftershocks, the Chinese leadership may feel it has to take hard line against potential challenges to Chinese sovereignty. If the outbreak of the war between China and India, the whole South Asian region will face worse implications, such as destroyers through war.
Thank you so much for listening. I now introduce to you our reporters, Mr. A.J. Alauya, Miss Althea Galinada, Miss Kang Fabre, Miss Elvie Gargantos, Miss Jessa Gacus, and last but not the least, Mr. Noel Hernandez.